Hey, welcome back, Fool Nation. This is Tyler, the uncool fool, coming at you live. I'm doing this solo right here on Monday morning. My PIC, Marty McFly, is unavailable this moment, but that is okay. I'm here to bring you all the great news and notes from this weekend. And finally, the first week of the NFL fantasy season is in the books. What a first week. What a way to open it with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers scraping by the Dallas Cowboys at home in a great opener. And what a way to finish it last night with the Las Vegas Raiders winning in overtime over the Baltimore Ravens. So week one had a lot of fantasy ups, a lot of fantasy downs. Of course, some significant players got injured, which happens all the time. Unfortunately, it's football. It's a very violent sport, very violent game, and just that's part of the process. All right, so a couple of news and notes here. If you have any fantasy teams playing against the Jets this year or the Lions, play that defense. Really try to get on those guys right away. This week, for example, the New York Jets play the New England Patriots. The Patriots are a great pickup if you're looking for a defensive team to stream this week, or possibly even looking at a team to pick up for the rest of the year. Now, in their division, they got the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen does struggle against the New England Patriots and the Bill Belichick-led defense. And also, if you look down the line, Tua Tagovailoa, second-year QB. Traditionally, rookies and second-year QBs struggle a lot with the defenses that Bill Belichick and the Patriots can scheme up with. And plus, with all the signings they had this offseason too, they might be more than just a streamer if they are available in your fantasy league. So definitely look at getting those guys and picking up early. So we're going to get right into the injuries. The injuries right now, a tough break for Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver for the Denver Broncos. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks with a high ankle sprain, which sucks. The dude has all the talent in the world. First round pick last year for the Denver Broncos. He was going to be a big part of that trio with KJ Hamler and also the gentleman they got back from the ACL last year. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but Cortland Sutton. So big blow for Denver. But look for Noah Fant to get more looks. Look for all those guys to get more looks from Teddy B. It might make the other receivers more valuable in a week-to-week play here for the Denver Broncos. Next guy who got injured is Raheem Mostert. He hurt his knee. He's out for 8 weeks as of right now. He is on the IR for the San Francisco 49ers. Had 2 rushes this week for 20 yards. We had him as a top 10 running back this week. We were probably going to be right about that, but unfortunately, his knee had other ideas. So, hey, you win some, you lose some. It is what it is. And the other guy, too, that's a very significant injury is Ryan Fitzpatrick for the Washington football team. He hurt his hip this week. He is projected out 6 to 8 weeks. Taylor Heineke, I don't know how to say his last name. He is going to be the projected starter for the Washington football team for this foreseeable future. So if you have Ryan Fitzpatrick in your fantasy football team, you probably had him more as a backup. So maybe if you have a waiver wire guy you're looking at this week, maybe possibly look up Tua Tagovailoa as a guy who you want to replace with him for the future this week if you're looking for a waiver wire quarterback who could definitely help you down the road, or possibly even Big Ben. So with that being said, this week we're going to just talk about some guys who you might want to look at dealing, some guys you want to trade right away because these guys had incredible weeks. Not only are we going to tell you who to trade, and also we're going to give you the reason why, and also too because all the guys that we're talking about are going to have very, very, very high trade values as of right now. The first guy to trade, if you're looking at trading some guy, would be Amari Cooper, Dallas Cowboys. And the reason why I say it is because Dak Prescott is not going to throw 58 passes per game every game. It's just not going to happen. They are going to get Zeke fed for the rest of the year. Dak Prescott had 58 passes. 13 were caught by Amari Cooper for a bunch of yards and also a touchdown too as well. So that's the guy who you want to definitely make sure that you can get a high trade right now if you want to do it for him. He's number 3 ranked in all fantasy football. Another guy who you might want to look at maybe trading possibly would be Deebo Samuel. The Niners are a run-first offense. Deebo had a great week 1. If you hold on to him, I don't blame you at all because I think he's going to be a huge part of the Niners defense. But if you can get a guy who you feel like is an upgrade, or if you can package him with somebody else who you feel like that maybe you can use a certain position that could be a little bit better, like a running back or a tight end, I wouldn't blame you to do that whatsoever. Deebo Samuel right now, trade value is at an all-time high. Next guy who I would look at dealing is Adam Thielen for the Minnesota Vikings. This week, he had a great matchup against the Bengals, had 2 touchdowns. He was Kirk Cousins' best receiver this week. They also have Justin Jefferson there. It's kind of like the same script as it was week 1 last year. Adam Thielen had a great week 1 last year, and then to flip the script, Justin Jefferson kind of tore the cover off of all the stadiums he was on. So look for maybe to trade him this week, why his trade value is extremely high. Another guy that we would possibly want to look at trade would be Tyler Locket. Tyler Locket had one of his 4 monster games he has a year. He does this. He has 1 good game, 1 bad game, 1 good game, 3 bad games. He's a guy who is just like, he's herky-jerky. He just takes you to the mountaintop and then takes you straight down. He doesn't have any consistency whatsoever in his career. He's always been this way. Last week against the Colts defense, he had 2 touchdowns, 4 catches for 100 yards on the dot. So if you had him, you played him, you probably won your week that week. He was last week, he was a great guy to have in your lineup. All right, so now some news and notes that we're going to talk about here. Now just watching the games this week, and Cleveland's D looks really, really good. Their special teams kind of gave the game up a little bit with the punter fumbling the football, so don't really take that into too much consideration. The Kansas City Chiefs are a juggernaut offense. You make one mistake, they just capitalize on it. So if you have the Cleveland defense, don't worry about it. Pick them up. They're going to be good for the rest of the year, so don't even worry about that whatsoever. Another great observation this week is Jameis Winston had an unbelievable week. He had 5 touchdowns, had almost 150 passing yards. Very proficient in the offense for the New Orleans Saints. Looks like a much better quarterback than what he was at Tampa Bay. Couple of reasons: he's got really good coaching right now, and also too, so you can see he got the laser surgery. So obviously that's making a huge difference for him. So Jameis Winston, awesome week 1, brother. Great job. Also too, week 1 news and notes: the Arizona Cardinals defensive line absolutely torched Tennessee. It was unbelievable. Oh my gosh. I was slightly wrong on that. I thought that was going to be a high scoring affair on both ends of the side of the ball. Arizona held up their end. Tennessee did not. Chandler Jones is a man among boys. He is ridiculous. JJ Watt, ridiculous. So Arizona, look for them to keep on rolling with that. Look for their defensive line to keep going. Now, I don't know how many of you remember this back in the day, but there was a guy named Justin Smith, and there was a guy named Aldon Smith who played for the 49ers when they went on their Super Bowl run. Kind of what those guys did this week is very similar, and it reminds me a lot of what the Niners did with those 2 guys, with Jim Harbaugh when he had that team. So look for those guys to keep that up. If they both stay healthy, they're going to be difference makers on that in the NFC West for sure. The Steelers had a really nice second half comeback. They scored 0, zilch, nada, zip in the first half. Whatever happened in halftime, whatever the speech was for Coach Tomlinson, got the boys fired up. They definitely turned it around. They had a great second half, came back and won, scored all 23 points in the second half. So good job for the Steelers. Kudos to them. Hey, one more observation: the Browns are for real. If with or without Odell Beckham Jr., of course you want him. He is a guy that you're gonna want on your team. He's a guy that you're gonna want on all your fantasy leagues. He had a great, he's had a great career. He was not on active first one because of his torn ACL. So just kind of some food for thought on that. Back to the trades. Some guys you want to trade for right now before their draft stock gets higher than what it is. You want to look at Chris Godwin, Tampa Bay. Tom Brady loves his slot guys. Chris Godwin's going to play mostly out the slot, so be careful. So be aware of that. Damon Harris for the New England Patriots. With Mac Jones as their quarterback, they already look about 10 times better than what they did at any time last year. They have a traditional running back now. They don't have a quarterback who runs. So any handoff to Harris is going to be a handoff to Harris. He's going to have a much better year than this year than he did last year. Another guy who you want to trade for because he had a very terrible game, low game, would be Devontae Adams. Now, his value is a little bit on the lower side right now, so if you can get him for maybe a Amari Cooper, just saying, that would be a really good trade right now, or something that you would want to explore for the rest of the year. Also, too, you'd want to look at the guy for Tampa Bay, too, as well, Antonio Brown. I believe, personally, Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown are going to be the 1A, 1B this year. And that's no fault of Mike Evans at all. It's just I believe Tom Brady likes those 2 more. Mike Evans still probably going to get 1,000 yards. He'll probably get 7 or 8 touchdowns. He'll still do Mike Evans things. But I think at the end of the day, Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin are going to be the guys that you're going to want this year at the end of the year in Tampa Bay. So anyway, so just some news and best weeks here for you position-wise. This is going to be PPR here for you. So PPR guys who had the best weeks right now for the quarterbacks, Jameis Winston here we talked about. Kyler Murray had an incredible week. He had 4 touchdowns overall, 1 running. Dak Prescott had an incredible week. If you watched him on Thursday Night Football, Dak is back. There's no doubt about it. So he's feeling good, real good. Another guy who had a great week was Patrick Mahomes. So we got him in our top, and he had a great week. Jalen Hurts too as well. We predicted him to be a top 5 quarterback this week. We got him correct too, and Kyler Murray. So we did really good on the quarterbacks this week. Running backs who had a great week. Run CMC, Christian McCaffrey again. Great week. Joe Mixon had a great week. He had 150 all-purpose yards and a touchdown. DeAndre Swift had 100 all-purpose yards and a touchdown too as well. And also his partner in crime, Williams in Detroit too as well. So Detroit had a lot of valuable fantasy running back for both running backs in their system. So that's a huge sign of what Detroit is looking to do. So also Williams had 111 yards overall and a touchdown too as well. And the last running back who had a really nice week this week was Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb had 83 yards and a couple of touchdowns for the dog pound. The wide receivers who absolutely crushed this week. The first one we're going to talk about is Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill almost had 200 yards and a touchdown. Next guy we're going to talk about is Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper had 13 receptions, 131 yards, 2 TDs. Cooper Kupp had a nice day for the Rams on Sunday Night Football. He had 107 yards, 1 touchdown. Deebo Samuel had a great opening day for the 49ers. He had 189 yards through the air and a nice touchdown. Also, too, the receiver who we got right on the top number in the top 5 was D-Hop. He had 6 receptions, 83 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So we got Hill correct. We got D-Hop correct. So those 2 of the top 5 guys we got right. The top tight ends this week was TJ Hawkinson. He had 8 receptions, 89 yards, and a touchdown for Detroit. Travis Kelce, of course, Mr. Consistency, 6 catches, 76 yards, and 2, including the game-winning touchdown this week. And also the guy who never, ever sucks, Rob Gronkowski. He had a great game, too, as well for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 8 receptions, 90 yards, and 2 touchdowns, too, as well. So those are the high notes that we had this week. So if you start eating those guys, if you had those guys in your offense in any way, shape, or form, you probably absolutely crushed it. You probably had a great week. You probably won. So for all the week 1 fantasy guys, congratulations for winning. I hope y'all hope you go 2-0 this week. So we're going to give you some great advice here for you. We are going to do our starts and sits. We're going to have all that stuff here for you later this week. We're just going over the recap into the guys who are doing absolutely great. We want to make sure that we got all the guys that you want to trade away and all the guys you want to trade for too as well. Also, one guy you want to keep your eye on too is I wouldn't trade for him just yet. I would trade for him. I'd probably look to trade him maybe like week 4, week 5 when his ACL is feeling a little better and he has a little more confidence would be Saquon Barkley. If you can get him for a low value by then, that would be probably a really good way to go. They have a Thursday night game against the Washington football team this week. He was very limited Sunday. He's probably going to be very limited on Thursday. They're not going to want to push him too much just yet. So that'll be very interesting to see. I'll definitely be watching the game to see what his in and out totals are, see how many plays he's in there, see how many plays they take him out for. I'll be watching that very, very closely myself because he's somebody who has my attention, and I would not mind getting him as a low buy candidate, week 5, week 6 too as well. So I'm keeping my eye on that too as well. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for checking out the 2 Fools in Fantasy Football. My name is Tyler, the uncool fool. Please like, subscribe, share, add. Let everybody know about us. We're going to give out some great advice all year long. This is just the beginning. We're just scratching the surface. So me and Marty will have another video out very, very, very shortly. So we got to keep up on everything here for you. We're going to give you all the great fantasy advice. We're going to give you all the stuff that you need to make sure that you win your league this year and you absolutely crush it. So anyways, that is it. Thank you so much, Fool Nation, Triple F Squad. We appreciate you. We love you. Y'all have a great rest of your Monday. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the video. Let everybody know. Please smash that like button. If you have any questions, you want to know any answers, please throw it on there. I will answer and I will respond as soon as I see it. So, all right. Thank you so much for checking us out. I am Tyler, the Uncool Fool Greer, and I am out.